Today we're talking all about two of the most popular cameras on the internet right now. We have the brand new Insta360 GO Ultra and the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I've had the GO Ultra since it came out about a month ago now, and I've had the Pocket 3 since April 2024. When I did my first impressions video about the GO Ultra, one of the top comments that I kept getting was to ask for a comparison between these two cameras. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I've genuinely loved using both of these cameras, but I do think there are things that set them both apart which are important to talk about. So if you want to see the first video I did about the GO Ultra, I'll link that in the description. Before getting into it, I do want to mention this video is in partnership with Insta360. However, all opinions are my own and they're based off of my own personal experiences using both of these cameras. I'm also going to label which camera is filming what footage so you can clearly see the difference and compare for yourselves, because that's the whole point of this video. When I was thinking about both of these cameras, I started to realize why they kind of exist, in my opinion. This fits perfectly into the next point I want to make is I'm not a professional videographer or photographer, and I mention this all the time because I think there is a really distinct market now for camera companies trying to create tech that is as easy to use as possible, whether that's people that are new content creators or people that are trying to capture content on the go. I do believe that both of these are aimed at people that are trying to do content in that way. So in that aspect, I think both of these are similar in the reason why they were designed, but then they really start to shine in different areas. I also want to mention that throughout this video, I'm going to focus more on my experience and show you some examples of things that I've found really helpful as someone that is primarily a vlogger. But if you are looking for specs, highly recommend checking out the website. And then right off the bat, I do want to mention the prices for both of these cameras. So I'll put them on screen, and both of them also have a creator bundle option. It's a little bit more expensive for the creator option for both of them, but in comparison, this does come in at a slightly lower price. Also, I have both of these in black. They do have a white option for the GO Ultra as well. I've never had a white camera, but if that's something that you're into, it's available. The Pocket 3 is only in black as of now. First, I want to actually compare both of these in terms of just how they're designed. I've been showing you the GO Ultra as just the camera itself. The camera itself is incredibly small. In the full form, this is the action pod. So this is what you would house the camera in, but you also get this full screen that flips up. So if you're filming, you can use it to preview yourself, which I do really like for filming myself. To get a camera this small, it has always been assumed you'd have to sacrifice some of the quality, but with the GO Ultra, it has been very impressive how good the quality looks even with such a small camera. The Pocket 3 in comparison is quite a bit bigger. This is what the camera looks like just on its own, but I do want to mention if you're carrying it in your bag or anything, you really need to have a case. This is a gripe that I've had because the case I don't think is the most durable, but you just really do need to carry it in this case. You probably know this as well, but the back of the GO Ultra is magnetic, so I can mount this virtually anywhere as long as it's magnetic, and I found this to be super helpful because I don't have to bring a tripod around. Next, of course, we do have to talk about video quality. That is obviously why we spend the money we do on different cameras. Without going into a spec by spec comparison, both of these cameras do shoot in 4K. They also both have different color profiles that you can film with. I generally just use whatever is normal because I think for most of us, we just want to turn on the camera and start filming. So let's take a look at what the footage on both of these cameras look like. Here is a comparison of what the footage looks like in front of my bookshelf. I have some very colorful books. Let me know if you like to read as well, because I definitely have my fair share of books in my collection, but I wanted to do a comparison of what the colors are looking like. So the Pocket 3 is definitely looking a little bit more muted on my camera, whereas looking at the GO Ultra display, it does look a bit more saturated. Both are being filmed using the normal picture profile, so there's no settings on the camera. Here's also a comparison of what the plants are looking like. In almost every camera video where I do comparisons, I always include my plants, but I want to show you guys the colors and give you a sense of how the vibrant green is showing on camera. We got my snake plant, the GO Ultra. I do see a difference in the colors from both cameras. It's pretty typical for different cameras to have a slight difference in how the colors get processed. So I think in that aspect, it is really personal preference. I've just stepped into my room and I'm actually sitting on the ground right now, but this is like one of the darkest places that I could bring the camera within my apartment. I have my blinds basically fully down, but I wanted to give you guys a good idea of what it looks like in low light situations. So this is what the Go Ultra looks like. I currently have the normal settings on, so I didn't change anything. But if you guys didn't know, there's also a pure video mode, which is perfect for low light situations. So I've turned on the pure video mode on the Go Ultra. This is the setting that Insta360 came out with to help with filming in low light situations. Action cameras are notorious for not having good quality in low light, and I was honestly a bit skeptical about filming with low light because I've had not the best experiences with the other action cameras that I've had. So that's what this looks like with the pure video mode. This is what the Pocket 3 is looking like in the same exact setting. For the Pocket 3, this was one of the big things that people kept talking about, is how much better it is in low light. There is a low light mode as well, similar to the Go Ultra, which people have also really enjoyed. This is what it looks like with the low light mode. I can't actually see that much of a difference on the camera, but I think when I look at the footage back, it'll be more obvious. This is what people would use for, again, filming in situations where there's very minimal light. Another really big thing is the microphone quality. So in my first video about the Go Ultra, I had many comments asking what the microphone was, and I can confirm that any clips that were using the Go Ultra in that video were filmed using the built-in microphone, and I was also really impressed by that. But what's also new for the Go Ultra is you can now attach Bluetooth microphones, so it actually syncs directly to the camera without having to use any wires. As of now, I'll put a list of the compatible Bluetooth microphones that you can use, but with different software updates, I think that list is going to be expanding very soon. Insta360 also has their super tiny wireless mic called the Mic Air. I haven't tried this yet, but they are going to release an update so that this connects to the Go Ultra. Don't get me wrong, I do like to use external microphones because sometimes I know that I might be talking more quietly when I'm in public and things like that. So flexibility is great, but also having a good built-in microphone is quite important. On the other hand, the Pocket 3 does have the built-in microphone, but if you get the creator combo, it comes with the DJI Mic 2, which does connect wirelessly. Funny enough, this mic also connects via Bluetooth to the Go Ultra, so I wanted to do a little test and compare what the audio sounds like for both of these cameras with and without an external mic. This is what the mic sounds like using the built-in microphone on the Insta360 GO Ultra. In the first video that I did when I was vlogging and I was out and about, I was actually only using the built-in microphone. This is a test of the Go Ultra using the DJI Mic 2. I haven't actually tried this before, so I'm assuming the sound is going to be pretty close to what it would sound like if I was using it on my Pocket 3. This is what the audio sounds like using the built-in microphone on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I do use the built-in microphone sometimes because, as I've said, when I'm on the go, I just find it quicker than having to connect an external mic. But a lot of people that do have this camera, and I've said this before, would recommend using the Mic 2, which comes with the creator combo if possible. This is what it sounds like using the DJI Mic 2 connected to the Pocket 3. I'm assuming it's going to sound very similar to having it connected with both cameras. Something else that I think is really important with any cameras that I use, but especially my vlog cameras, is the stability. So when I was replacing my previous vlog camera with the Pocket 3, I knew I needed something that was more stable, and I think that's what really drew people to this camera because it has a built-in gimbal, which is how the camera does all the swiveling and moving, right? So it's very smooth like that. But with that in mind, I wanted to also see how the Go Ultra compares in terms of stability because it does not have a gimbal. Next, I wanted to talk about what makes each of these cameras unique, especially compared to each other. So starting with the Go Ultra, this camera itself is actually waterproof. So this little guy, you can put into water, you can get some underwater shots, and you're good. This action pod itself is splash proof. It's not fully waterproof. It definitely gives me peace of mind because most of my cameras are not waterproof. With that, I think the durability aspect of it does really come to play. I brought this with me to go paddleboarding many times. There's no way that I was gonna bring this to go paddleboarding. It was just so easy and I didn't have to worry about getting it wet, which also leads me to just the general versatility of this. There are so many little spaces that you can pop this into that a typical camera just wouldn't really fit. I can put this above my stove. I can put this in my laundry machine. I can put this underneath a bench at the gym. I can put this in so many different spots, and having the ease of mounting it with the magnetic back was something that I was really excited about, which leads me into the general thing that I think separates this camera is the ability to get POV shots and how easy that is. So I talked about this in my last Go Ultra video. This is what the neck pendant is, and it's magnetic, so you can just pop this on and you're good to go. Versus some of the more traditional chest mounts that you'd have to use for action cameras were not a good look. And this I can just put into my shirt. This is just a quick demonstration, but you can see it's just as easy as that, and you can obviously hide the straps. And I've seen a lot of people talk about filming things in the moment, making that as seamless as possible without disrupting what you're currently doing, which is why I think some of the accessories are very unique. This is actually one of their newest accessories, is their ring remote. So they had sent this over and I think it is such a genius invention. So if you guys don't know, I've turned running into my whole personality. And when you're running or when you're doing other activities that you're just literally in the moment, you're not trying to think too much about filming content, but you still want to capture things, this is such a great way to do that. I would pair this with the head strap, for example. If you just want to set it up before you go and then you notice you have a clip that you want to capture, you just press your ring remote and it starts filming. I've also been liking this wrist strap. So it has this easy release. I put one of these little attachments right onto the camera. So if I have it in here, it's just such an easy way to use this camera and then keep it on my wrist. I also got this tripod, which basically I can use for more traditional like sit down clips. I always do enjoy having a standard tripod like this. I think this is a great size. So those are some of my favorite things about the Go Ultra and unique features that I think make it stand out compared to most cameras that are out there. But I do want to talk about the things that the Pocket 3 has, which the Go Ultra doesn't have. One of the key features for the Pocket 3 is having the gimbal, as I've talked about. With the gimbal, it also has a active track feature, which basically means you can focus on an object and the camera will follow that object as it moves. For instance, if someone is walking and you put the active track on that person, the camera will follow that person throughout the screen by moving the gimbal. So that is a feature that has helped the Pocket 3 stand out. Another thing that the Pocket 3 does have is autofocus. It does a pretty good job with background separation because the focal range is different to the Go Ultra. In short, the Go Ultra has what is considered an infinity focus, so everything is basically always in focus. The reason for that is this has a much wider field of view, so you can capture super wide angles, especially for action shots. That's very important. But what that means is there isn't separation or blurry background effects. So as you can tell, they do both have distinct strengths that I think are very important to consider. But next, I do want to talk about my biggest issues with both of these, because no camera is perfect. I haven't met a perfect camera yet. So the first thing I'll say for the Pocket 3, and I've already alluded to this is a more fragile camera. I was filming with this one day and I accidentally knocked it over. I saw my light flash before my eyes. So you definitely have to be more cautious when it comes to that. And I really encourage people trying to make the decision to think about what type of scenarios are you gonna be mostly filming in. And even for me, when I'm taking it out, and like I said, I'm putting it into my bag and I'm using this case, I just have to always be very careful about making sure this is safe. For the Go Ultra, I would say it does have limited focus options because, as I explained, the infinity focus of the camera means that I can't really get close-ups and have like background blur and stuff. It's just something that you have to accept if you're using a camera like this. Maybe in the future we'll have action cameras that have a bit more flexibility with focus, but for now, that is one of the things that makes the footage look different. If you're mostly filming outdoors and you're mostly filming wide shots, that doesn't really matter. But if you're wanting to film something like very close up and trying to get that background blur, this is something that is a bit limited with the Go Ultra. So with all that said, I do really love both of these cameras, but for different reasons as well. So when I think about my upcoming travels, for example, when I am going to be vlogging, I intend to bring both of these because I have different uses for both of these cameras. But the purpose of this was also to show you guys the range of things that make each of these unique and also help you think about how you're going to plan to film and what type of content is most important to you, what are things that you can live without, and also things that you don't want to have to worry about. But with all that in mind, I hope this video was helpful. I'd love to know what you guys think about both of these in the comments below. Thank you again to Insta360 for sponsoring today's video. You can check out the Go Ultra using my link in the description with code Celine. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next one.